Hello and good evening, everybody. My name is Amanda J, and with me is my co host.
Cash Money Millionaire.
Yay! And thank you, Kash, for joining us this evening. We are so
Absolutely.
excited. We have been excited for the last couple of weeks. And again, we are going to have a wonderful, wonderful time getting to know some wonderful baiters who have been kind of in the spotlight. And we didn't really even know what was kind of happening until we heard about them. So, again, we are super, super excited. Thank you all for joining us this evening. And we hope that we'll be able to answer some questions and provide great details of what these two do, what these two individuals do. And so, what we're going to do is first is we're going to bring up a gentleman named Hatch who does live streams on Twitch. And what he does is he bites on Twitter. It is so cool to see. So, again, let us welcome our wonderful dear friend Hatch. So, Hatch, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. And if you don't mind just
Well,
unmuting yourself. Hello, hello.
yeah, thank you for having me. I am absolutely excited to be here, and I think it's going to be fun, informative,
Hmm.
and as you see, we're already raving at Cash's place, so let's go.
I
Party never
know,
stops.
party, yes. So we thank you, Cash, for letting us party at your place. And again, let's just kind of say a few hellos here while we're. So again, we've got Cindy, who is a wonderful person and a great moderator. DeFlu, hello, Dillhole. Um, we have KDA, who is also an awesome moderator and she's just awesome, awesome host. And again, we got Hatch. We've got Return of Steely. Thank you so much for joining us over here. And thank you for watching and joining in Hatch's streams. I know that you're one of a kind of guy. And so we appreciate it. Um, and we have Mark Evans. Thank you so much for being here. Mary. Hello, Mary. And Cindy Turner, of course. And so, again, just thank you all for joining us. So, again, we have some questions for you already. And again, we may not answer them all on the panel, but you guys are certainly welcome to answer anything that you have in chat. But if you want a opportunity to speak in person, we are going to give you the opportunity just a little bit later on our Q&A session. So just hang on tight and let's have some fun.
Have some fun with it. Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
Well, Hatch, we've done a lot of preparing for this, so I know this is going to
Yeah,
be
if
kind
that's
of
what you want to call it.
well, as far as me, Amanda, and you getting to know kind of your
Mhm.
side of the scamming and or scam baiting, not the scamming.
Right.
You're not a scammer. I want to clarify that
No,
before I
not a
before
scammer.
I dig my
He
own hole.
he is a baiter. He is a baiter.
So basically, how did you get into this? What got you kicked off on it? How did you find out about scam baiting, and what got you into it to begin with?
Uh, Long time ago, I'll try to make this as sweet and short as possible. A long time ago, my son was 5, and he said when he grows up, he wants to be a YouTuber. I didn't even know at the time you could make money off YouTube. So I started doing some research. I discovered Twitch and live streaming. Um, I started watching someone called Kit Boga. I'm sure
Mhm.
almost everybody here may have heard of him.
One of the
I
top
was
tiers.
absolutely, oh God, he is the god. I was absolutely fascinated with what he does, and it was so entertaining. So I was like, well, I'm going to start streaming myself. When I first started streaming, I started doing the phone call style scam baits like he did,
Mhm.
but it was just too much for me. It was one person, no team or anything helping me. It was just me, and I didn't know a lot of the technical background of what to do. So
Mhm.
I ended up just being a gamer, and I did that for almost 2 years. Then I was getting burnt out on all the games I was playing. I was getting sick of it. As a content creator, I was struggling for content, uh, and at the same time, I'm a disabled single parent, so I live on a very tight budget, and I just had my car broke down. Bills were due, and I went on to Twitter and just, I wasn't even looking for it, but I found some legitimate philanthropists giving away money. So I was like, well, put my cash tag out there and maybe I'll get picked, and goodbye bills, goodbye credit cards. And I got responses from people saying, DM me with your cash tag and blah, blah, blah. And I didn't know anything about scams on Twitter at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up chatting with one of them. I gave them my online login information to my bank, but in my gut the whole time, it just didn't feel right. Went to bed, woke up the next morning. I knew something was wrong. So I immediately changed all my banking information, my password, my login, everything before they got in and did any damage.
Mm-hmm.
And it dawned on me that he was a scammer. And then I just started seeing all these other posts, and like, there's so many scammers on Twitter. This is insane. And at the same time, no content, scammers. I know I've seen scam baiting, and it just
Mm-hmm.
kind of came together.
Well, we're
Right.
glad that you did. I mean, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here today talking about this. And so it's definitely very, very interesting. And so he kind of asked you a couple of questions. I'm going to ask you a couple as well. Is what even made you consider doing the baiting of this style?
To be honest, I think most of it was at the beginning. It was I just needed something to stream. I needed something to put out there for my viewers. So let's just do it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then I started keeping track of everything, everybody I was baiting, and I was going and then following up and seeing. And I started feeling really good
Thanks, Brandon.
inside. I had been in a really depressive and anxiety rut since my divorce, which was like 3 years ago.
Oh, I'm
And
sorry.
I started feeling good about myself. I started feeling like I was having some purpose and doing something. And my hair is standing up now as I talk about it. So I feel like I finally, at my age, I finally found my calling in life, and
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy doing it now. Every inch of my body loves it now.
Good.
Absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely.
And while we're I'm going to go ahead and bring our next guest as well, so that way he can kind of answer some of the same questions, if you don't mind. So again, we want to introduce Whiskey Scambaiter, who also does Twitter and Instagram, and he does non-delivery type scams. And so he'll definitely tell you a little bit more. But if that's all right, we're going to go ahead and introduce Whiskey and bring him onto the panel. So again, Whiskey, hello.
Hey, hello.
Hello. Thank you for waiting. I appreciate it.
Oh,
So
no worries.
again, you definitely want to catch up with these guys. They're great. And so as you can kind of tell, we've already kind of been asking, Hatch, some of the same questions. What is kind of the same thing for you? What kind of got you into the style?
Yeah,
of
so
baiting?
I got into it, during lockdown and everything. I discovered, the big scam baiters, Kiboga Force, Pierogi, with Scammer Payback, and I watched. I was a fan for a while, and I was like, you know what? I wonder if there, are any type of whiskey type scams. So I've been in
Mhm.
the alcohol beverage business for almost 20 years. So I went on Twitter. I dusted off my Twitter account that I hadn't used in years, and typed in whiskey scam. And lo and behold, there was an account on there called Whiskey Scam Alert. And I was like, whoa, okay, this is pretty cool. So I started following them, started reporting accounts. And then I was like, you know what? I wonder if I can actually bait these folks on Twitter. So I reached out to him.
Thank you.
I said, hey, do you do any scam baiting? Are you aware of scam baiting? And they were like, no, I'm pretty much, just reporting. And he does some engagement in terms of trying to find out where they are and confirm that they're a scammer. I said, all right, well, I think I'm going to get into it. Would that be cool with you? And they were like, yeah, absolutely. That'd be amazing. Because it's pretty much, he was the only one on Twitter, going after these whiskey scams. And the whiskey community is very, very similar to the scam baiting community. It's a very tight niche, close community that supports each other. So, I created a Whiskey Scambaiter on Twitter and started scam baiting. And then decided to get an Instagram as well, because I saw a bunch of them on, my personal Instagram page. And I was like, you know what? Let me cross over and do that as well. And that's how I got into it. So my two passions, whiskey and scambaiting.
That's so cool.
I was able to combine.
And I'm glad you did too.
Doing what you love.
And that's kind of what we're going to discuss. Yes. And that's pretty much what you guys have kind of already discussed anyway, is trying to find something that you're passionate about. And if you're passionate about scambating, then find something that you're really, really kind of hits home and that you also know about. So again, Hatch. Oops, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say either Kash or Amanda J or anybody. If because hopefully I've got some folks of the whiskey community either in here tonight or gonna watch this down the road. But some of them aren't aware of what scambaiting is. Obviously, some of them follow me and they know the name, but I don't know if they necessarily know the actual details of scambaiting. So I somebody else talk and like describe what scambaiting is.
And that's true.
It's literally almost like Whiskey story. When I met Whiskey, I was scambaiting already. I knew they were on Twitter, but even I didn't. I saw Whiskey Scambaiter, and I was like, "What is a whiskey scam?" And then we started chatting, and Whiskey is amazingly resourceful. He's helped me out in the background sometimes. He's the dude's got talent. That's all I got to say.
He does. And again, thank you all for have joined us, such as like a Lunatic 4. Always got to remember that 4.
Lunatic is here.
Yeah, I love Alone. I'm glad you got to know her too, Hatch. She's awesome. And Agent Grantman, thank you for being here. Ismail, hello, Ismail. And so again, thank you guys for joining us this evening. And we'll just keep continuing with some of the questions. Also, we have in the background is our friend Nope, who will be joining us here in just a little bit. So hang on tight, Nope, and KDA. And all right, I have a couple other questions if you don't mind. Okay, this is actually could be for both of you guys.
Well, here while you're going down that road. So Hatch, you do the Twitch TV or Twitch.tv.
Yeah.
And that was something that we had talked about earlier, and that's a little bit harder to stream because there is no verbal context to that. I mean, it is all text based, and you have to be the entertainer while you're also doing the scam.
Yes.
Exactly.
So that's a good question right there. How do you do that?
Most people are aware of the phone call type scambaiting. You're listening on the phone calls, and from a streamer, then you have audio and video. But when I'm chatting in Twitter, I'm not talking to them. Nobody can hear them. So I kind of narrate what I'm typing out, just to fill some of that silence. Because if you don't have audio, people aren't going to watch. It's just a fact. So, filling some of the silence, explaining what's going on, explaining some of the scams. It's a little more challenging in that aspect, but it's something that I like because it seems like when you're talking to someone, it's a personal connection. You know someone, there's another human. It's humanizing feeling. But when I'm chatting with them, I can kind of just disconnect my personal self from my scambaiting self. Yeah. And that's why it's feels so right for me instead of the phone calls.
Well, from a streamer's point of view, there's a lot of people, myself included. Like I'll watch a lot of streams and I'll just have my phone in my pocket, but I'll have my earbuds in. That's kind of hard to do when it's text based.
It is.
We call those lurkers, and by God, we love our lurkers. Our viewer count. But so if I wasn't talking and narrating, no one's going to watch me, and if they can't see it, if they're doing something in the background, just have it on. They can still listen to it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, that's.
Well, you also got to look at too, folks that are visually impaired. It's basically like a podcast. I do it at work. I'll turn a stream in and I can't necessarily engage the stream through, in chat, but, I listen to it.
Right. And real quick, I just want to interject. Neon Family, thank you so much for just even popping in. I can't believe it's already 2 a.m. on your time. So again, thank you. You have a great night. Get some good sleep, and we'll look forward to catching up with you again soon. Thanks for stopping by. CJ, hello. So again, you're absolutely right. I mean, Kash, I thank you for bringing that up because it is different when you have to look at everything from the background. And plus, he just showed us like his whole desk and his monitors and what's going on. And so he's like focusing on this and that, and then try to also provide the content and saying, okay, this is what I'm going to be doing. So again, for one to get prepared for this, what should someone do? I mean, especially if they're considering even just doing even Twitter. I mean, not Twitter, but Twitch and doing Twitter at the same time, which is probably very, very difficult in this situation.
Well, that's kind of like an apples and oranges questions, but you're going to
Sorry.
have different
Yeah.
answers.
Okay.
No, you're it's fine. It's a good question. No, it's a good question. Let me go at it.
Yeah.
So content creation, it's really easy to start. They make it as simple as download the app on your phone. You're playing your game on your phone, you can start streaming. Or you can get a $5,000 PC and a 7-8 monitors and kind of like what I do and do it that way. So scam baiting, at least in Twitter, the way I do it on Twitter, also very easy to get into. But what you're going to want to focus on in the beginning is just making sure you don't slip up and give out personal information. If you're trying to stream it and bait it, you're not doxing yourself, giving out phone numbers, addresses, stuff like that. That's probably, I would say, go ahead, Whiskey.
Oh,
or Kash, whoever.
Even besides that, just getting into it, I would say, don't. Even if you're not streaming it, I mean, because you have to be pretty big for someone to want to dox you. You have to make some enemies for someone to want to dox you on the streaming side. But because normally it all starts out with close friends and people in the community and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, there are a few sour apples, but but just getting into it. I mean, you have to. I would assume. I don't know. I've never done the social media baits, but I would assume you have to have a whole different identity on there, right?
100%.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. My baiting profile, ironically, is my original profile that I had on Twitter, but I went and scrubbed all my personal tweets and pictures and stuff from it. So that way,
shut
that's
it down
not what
and restarted.
Right. I'm not actually presenting myself to. Well, I have two Twitter profiles. There's my, one where I post all my baits information and stream, but then there's my baiting profile that just looks like it's a disabled dad. You'd never if you saw it, you wouldn't think anything about Twitter scam baiting. But yeah, you definitely don't want to be putting out anything personal to these scammers. And on the mention of getting doxing, you may not have a personal enemy or something, but you're pissing off some scammers. And if they find out your Twitch label, what do I say, link, and if you got links in there to everything else, it's gonna make it hard to scam bait because they're gonna know who you are. They're gonna pop in and see, oh, he's scam baiting now. He's talking to so and so. Don't talk to him.
Yeah.
So
talking to so and so who's in the room next door to them.
Right.
It can be a very fine line as to what you want to share with a scam baiter. Like at the end of every one of my scam baits, I end up outing myself. I tell them that I'm a scam baiter. You're doing this against terms of services. You've been reported, blah, blah, blah. But I don't tell them, well, here's my Twitter scam baiting profile and here's my Twitch link, because I don't want them to go find that.
Because by that time, you're hoping they'll never be able to access that account again.
Yeah. They'll start reporting me for everything, and it could make my life hell now.
Yeah, so we don't want that to happen, definitely, for sure. So again, like you said, you just have to be very, very careful on what you're doing and knowing exactly how to communicate verbally through text and kind of do their lingo, their communication, just like we were talking earlier, Hatch.
Yeah, surprisingly, like none of my accounts actually have been doxed. Unlike Hatch, I do not reveal. The few times I have, but I do not. One of the reasons I don't is most of the folks I deal with are in West Africa, primarily Cameroon. When it comes to whiskey and puppies, that's where they're based out of. I don't think they're that aware of what scam baiting is. And I also don't want to give them any tips or clues. Most of them are young men operating out of internet cafes or on their phone. They are connected to organized crime from what the research I've found out. But they're for the most part pretty independent, but within a network. So there's no office. There's no very different than tech support scams where they're in an office, somewhere in Asia. These guys are on their phone, hanging out in their towns and scamming everything they can.
Oh my gosh!
And Whiskey makes a good point of not wanting to out himself so they're not so aware of it. But on a little bit of a flip side, I have had some scammers that I have baited on 5 different profiles, and every time they didn't remember who I was.
No. It's hard for them to keep track, right?
It can't because they're chatting with so many people that they don't really remember. So I out myself. So when they log in at that time and their account is suspended, they're gonna be like, "Oh shit, that one guy."
Yeah, they've got so many lines in the water. It's very hard for them to figure out which one is actually biting and which one kind of bit them. And Dillhole, I saw you ask a question earlier. It's rye whiskey is in my glass.
Oh, I missed that. Sorry, my cat's in the way.
So yes. I don't know how to. I don't know how to answer in chat. So
no, you're fine.
Are you a glass half empty or a glass half full?
I'm a glass half full guy. Pour more in. Just half empty. It's time to pour more.
Now, again, let's cheers to what you guys are doing, and again, just thank you guys for being here. And so, cheers and salutations to both for your accomplishments so far and where you've been, where you're going. And so again, it's just amazing. But I do need to kind of interject here just for a quick kind of a quick thing, because earlier my friend Nope and I are in Team SDS, as you know, as so many other people. And we are doing a GoFundMe page because we are in need of additional supports to put in place. So that way we can help other scam baiters like myself, and we can provide more tools for the scam baiters and also educational and promotional. So again, the link is above. And so if you don't mind checking it out, then that would be great. It will also help Team SDS, and it'll also help the whole community. So, and again, we're also going to be providing links are also in the description for both Whiskey and Hatch. So just let y'all know if you're, want to kind of, catch all that at the end, that would be great. But again, let's continue on with some more of our discussion. So I hope you don't mind just kind of giving that little.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Because we definitely really need to help. So.
Well, one thing that I was going to ask Whiskey. So Whiskey, when you got started on this, what was your setup?
Same setup I have.
Same setup you have.
Yeah, I'm on a laptop, and I set up a couple different Twitter accounts, and then I use my phone, and that's it. So I VPN when I can, but through Twitter and Instagram, and as long as I'm not clicking things I shouldn't be clicking, it's it's pretty good. The websites that I after I had been doing it for a month or two, I really started focusing in on the scam websites, and it's probably over 50 sites that we've been able to take down, and those are a lot harder to get back up versus the puppy scams. If you've ever looked at a puppy scam website, which you can go to the Daily Scam, Scam Advisor, PetScams.com, and there's a slew of them that you can look at. They're very basic. There's no checkout, there's no credit card information, or in the scammers' case, Bitcoin. So it's not very. It's a very plain page. Whiskey sites, there you click on it, it takes you a description of the whiskey. There's checkout, so they're a lot more elaborate. So they're much more difficult to get back up.
That is very true. And since I kind of brought up that little thing, I'm going to go ahead and bring up Nope, if that's okay. That way you can kind of discuss and maybe ask a few additional questions that we don't have already written. So Nope, I'm going to go ahead and bring you up to panel. And again, here's a great baiter, great friend, and one who is helping the community out so much. So again, let's give a warm welcome to our friend Nope. Hello, Nope.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So if you want, I know that I kind of brought that up. And so I saw that your comment, I was like, oh, let's go ahead and just do a quick announcement again with Nope present. And then that way, if you have any questions too, for our gentleman here as well.
With the whole advert and all that, like the whole GoFundMe thing is because I'm running 2 PBX servers for the community that has 30 users between them. I'm running Shipbox Media. It's a 104 terabyte media server. I got our own version of Responder, so we can have fake banks. We can have fake card generators. It runs off of a
Oh, I need
plugin.
that.
I can
Oh, I need that.
make that happen. That's what she left out. She left out what the projects were.
Well, that's why I
what
wanted to bring
need,
in.
bro.
That's why I wanted to kind of just discuss it a little bit and then bring in because again, we just started this GoFundMe today.
I had to cut a lot of our servers, and because I had a lot of IRL issues that I had to deal with that required money. That those kinds of things that come up in life that are just really unfortunate and not well timed. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I have to take care of that, and if we want to keep these projects up and running for the whole community to use, you just let me know your usernames and passwords and shit.
Oh, I am going to be in touch with you for sure.
That's fine. That'd be
for
great.
For my whiskey friends who may be here, IRL is in real life.
Yes.
I had to Google that a while ago.
No, it's okay. It's okay. But again, it's important to understand that, on some of the Twitter, like you said, Whiskey, you're not going to need everything such as a PBX or a dialer or some of the other tools that some of us baiters have. But you still have to have your persona. You still have to have certain tools for your trade to make it even more realistic and resourceful, and getting that information out so that we can pass it out to other people. Also make a big impact on that, on helping the helping the people who are victims. And I know Hatch has a story about that too. But again, with Nope, we just want to make sure, because Team SDS is actually like our home sub for everybody.
Yeah, and if you don't have a dialer or anything, like it's so much better than text now. Well, one of my PBX servers spoofs the numbers every time you call, so they can't block you, and call IDs, and it also records all calls. Goodbye. It records all calls, so you don't have to worry about doing that secondhand. It's got a dashboard where you can retrieve all your calls and stuff like that. It's great. I love it, and everybody that it's on it loves it.
That's one of the things, to piggyback on kind of what Nope said, to talk about the community. One of the things that I found, kind of doing something very different than your typical Scambait was when I started to join the community, how supportive everyone is of one another, and especially with SDS and the tools that you guys are providing folks free of charge to help go after these scammers is really
I don't like asking for like monthly charges and shit. I want these tools to be available to anybody who wants to stop people that are taking advantage of other people. And if you can donate to keep the servers alive, because it does cost money, that's great. But if you can't, it's whatever.
Just be part of our community.
Whiskey had noted on the getting into the community. When I've kind of just recently started networking here within the community, everyone's been so amazing And I've also seen that everybody does their baiting a little bit differently. I mean, it's kind of like the snow. No two snowflakes are alike. No two scam
Right.
baiters are alike. And I think it's fascinating. I love watching. I watched CJ the other day for the first time. And I was just blown
incredible.
away by what she does. Wow.
Yes. And if whoever has not watched her, please go do it, because I love her show. She does on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I appreciate her having us on and helping promote this as well. And again, also she has her own show during and talking about the scams and also showing how to prevent them as well. So again, CJ, you're awesome. Please keep up doing what you're doing, and just know that we got your back. And you're right, DeFlu. Everyone is very unique and has their own style, and that's why it's important to kind of understand how and listen. I think it's really good to where you can say, like, okay, Hatch, I have not done a Twitter bait, so what do I need to do? And I know you're going to help me provide what I need.
I didn't realize I was. Sorry.
No, you're good. And so again, I think it's important for us to kind of listen and learn and evaluate how everyone does it very uniquely in the styles, and then kind of incorporate your own, like you said, Hatch.
Right.
So
and that's
I'm just kind of piggybacking off of you.
Since
Sorry.
I'm doing the tech, no, that's fine. Since I'm doing the text-based one, I have to show a lot more, and I show everybody, and I do it also for transparency, just so everybody can see every step I'm doing along the way, because it can also be evidence if there's ever some big scam baiting hub is raided, and whoa, this guy's got this. But anyway, I forgot totally what I was talking about. Oh, that happens so often.
It's okay. It's just about just figuring out what works best, and
yeah. Oh yeah. So I do, and in my baits, I have to do fake Cash App screens and fake balance screens and stuff. So it takes a little bit of technical know-how. You don't have to necessarily be, a coder to do it, but if you have a little bit of if you can do more than just turn on your computer, if you can get in your control panel and do stuff, you can Twitter scam bait. It's just that easy.
I don't know if you guys saw Doug Doom's question.
Yeah, I was just about to say that this would be a good question. Again, saying I do not understand the term tools and what do you and who can use them. Again, tools are basically like the dialer, the VMs,
virtual
machines, and things to where we can work as a team to really get information that's valuable to where then we can report it, and even use it for if we have to use it for the FBI, and also interjecting into a victim. There are times where we'll be on a call or on a Twitter scam, and so again, hopefully that's been answered, but definitely each of y'all, if you want to kind of chime in on the tools that we all use.
Yeah, dialer. So dialer. I'll let Nope go, or whoever that was.
Yeah,
it wasn't me.
I use things that are just common tools you can find on the internet, like an IP logger. You want to obviously have a VPN. I just recently got one, thank goodness, to just protect your own IP and stuff. Things like reverse image searches. You can find out so much just from a lot of tools that are out there on the internet already, and use quite a few of them. And I've actually learned quite a few of them from Whiskey, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
there's a lot of tools. There are a lot of tools that we can mention on a live stream. A lot of tools that we don't necessarily want to mention on live streams, especially on YouTube, because I know Hatch and I, and we know definitively that we have followers on Twitter that are monitoring us, that are looking at what we're doing. I'm sure at some point they'll be watching this stream. So
there's a million tools out there for you to use. There's a million tools. I feel like the best tool, no matter if you're doing and the live streaming side of scam baiting it's kind of saturated already. So if that's something you want to go down through, you better have a lot of money in your pocket. You better be a good YouTuber to begin with. But as far as
Mhm.
like basic tools, knowledge is the first one. Knowing what you need to do to get set up.
Mhm.
Knowing how to protect your identity. I say
Yes.
no matter what kind of scam baiting or anything you're doing in the scam baiting community, even if you're not doing calls or even if you're not doing Twitter baits, if you're doing anything that involves contact with a scammer, VPN is your number one. Gotta get a VPN. And I don't know. I don't know if there's any free ones out there. I don't know what the best one is. I think they're all pretty well good as long as they're from a reputable.
There's some free ones, I
I
think.
No,
literally there's some-
whoa. All right, if you want a good VPN, you're gonna gotta get something like WireGuard or something that's WireGuard based or Open VPN based. But WireGuard is probably your best bet since it's faster, just as secure. Your best bets for VPNs are Malved or Azire. You go to malved.net or azirevpn.com, I think. Those are your best bets for VPNs. Azire owns all their own servers so that nobody can take your data. And for any free VPN will sell your data to make money. That's how they make money. That's how they make the free VPN.
Oh, there you go. VPN is the starting point. I mean, I pay for mine, so I don't necessarily know, but yeah, VPN is the ultimate starting point when it comes to any type of communication.
So, Kash,
you can get a
can
decent
you
one for
explain what a
$3 month,
VPN
though.
is? Can we put in simple terms?
Yeah, absolutely. So VPN just basically takes your internet connection and it pings it in a different location. So anybody who's in contact with you, like right now, I can tell you the temperature and where am I at right now?
Well, depending on the VPN protocol, it encrypts your data too. WireGuard and OpenVPN encrypt your data, so
Yeah, but just
can,
on a basic level.
Nobody can see your data in between.
Yeah. It basically makes you anonymous.
Yes.
It hides your IP address.
Yeah, or not anonymous, but yeah, it hides your IP address.
No, I think it's very important to have those additional tools,
and then like dialers and virtual machines. That's you got to work your way up to being comfortable with.
That's the next step. Yeah,
that's down the road. That's nothing. You don't start out like, hey, I need a VM and a dialer. Okay,
right.
So what do I do now?
I didn't start that way in 2016 either. But now I'm so thankful that Nope has kindly said, hey, if you want to dial, I've got something for you. But it took me a while, to get there, because you got to get trusted. You got to, do the steps to get into place. Like you said, start off as being a talker, someone who actually makes the calls, someone who listens, someone who promotes and helps do other prevention type stuff. But again, you got to listen and observe first, and then figure out where you're going to go.
That's the great thing about with what we're doing, where a lot of, we're all social engineers. Anybody who's scam baiting is social engineering, but that's the really cool thing, about baiting on Twitter and social media platforms is anybody can do it, even if you're wasting their time. In the whiskey community, we get flagged. So, we've got this whole network of any scammer that likes any of our big whiskey guys, they immediately tag us in it, and we know who they are. And a lot of them will engage with them. They'll troll them. They'll waste their time in the chat, and they're not actually quote unquote baiting, but you're wasting a scammer's time. You're a scam baiter. And it's really cool.
The biggest thing, going back to what I was getting at, the biggest thing is just knowledge. You gotta really protect yourself to begin with. You gotta protect yourself. You gotta make sure that no one else is gonna be able to access your shit. You don't put any personal information out there, anything like that. That's the first tool is knowledge. I mean,
yes,
yeah, and for non-delivery scams, where my knowledge comes in, and because I'm super niche, because it is non-delivery scams, and really specifically how I got started was with whiskey, is because I know a lot about whiskey. So from a content creator stance, I'm asking them stupid questions that anybody in the whiskey community kind of already know the answer for. is Jack. This is for Kash. Is Jack Daniel's bourbon is one of my go-tos because they just Google it.
Yeah.
But for my audience, and that's entertainment. For my whiskey side of the audience, asking them, posting ridiculous prices for, bottles that are $2,000, and they're selling them for $800. Stuff that's impossible to find that, they're posting that they have 4 bottles of. And that's fun. It's very niche, super niche, but that's fun to the whiskey community.
No, that's very true. And
yes,
most
Jasper Newton,
of-
Bill Hull.
Well, and also
And,
Doug had a question too, and we can make sure that we get those questions answered here in just a little bit. But go ahead, Hatch.
Oh, and I was going to say, whereas Whiskey's does the product non-delivery scams, I focus more on the financial scams where they're trying to get money out of someone, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, and they all operate from a script. They can go out on the dark web, or they have other networks where they just they go buy these scripts of how these scams are run, and then they literally just copy and paste in a chat based. And you can take them on some when you get them to actually listen to you. You can take them on some wild rides. It can be, every bait is there's so much potential for craziness in every bait.
And that's kind of the entertainment value. Even if you're not streaming, I mean, the entertainment value sometimes is just, it's worth it in the end.
It so is.
Yeah, I mean, just to know that you wasted this fucker's time who's trying to scam some old lady out of 10 grand.
I had two of them literally say, I've had 2 of them literally tell me at the end of the debate, and I didn't even reveal myself yet. They're like, "I'm tired. Can we just do this tomorrow?" That was after like 6-7 hours with them, and I just wore them out.
And
if I had $1 for every time I've heard that.
Oh, I know. But
hey Doug, I see you said, so if I wanted to start at a low cost, what is the best tool to use to call? Like, what kind of dialer? And then you said, would a burner phone work? You don't even need a burner phone, honestly.
Doug Doom, if you're trying to scam bait for the first time, try something like Text Now or Google Voice.
Yes.
Good advice.
You don't have to get a dialer. Just get Text Now. Google
That's
Voice,
what I use.
Something like that.
The few times I can get my scammers on the phone, I'm using Text Now and Google Voice.
And that's
not connected to me in real life, though. That's very important. They're connected to my fake accounts, my fake email accounts.
Yeah.
Alternate. They're not fake.
Sorry.
Alternate.
Yeah, they're alternate personas and things like that. So and thank you, Cindy, for posting on the link. So thank you very much for doing that. And again, kind of going off. Okay, here's a question. It was kind of going towards Hatch, and Hatch, you kind of have my questions in front of you. But would you recommend this type of style of baiting to anyone? Is one of my questions I have.
It's easy, and since it's you're chatting and not talking, it's easier not to get so personally invested or emotionally charged when they call you names, and it can get heated with some of them. They're not all nice, or,
right?
When they find out they've been baited. So I mean, if you can keep yourself from getting that emotional attachment to your baits, you can do it emotionally. Mentally, it doesn't take much. They're not the smartest people in the world. Just you can tell them anything. So if you have a laptop, you can do it. You can do it on your phone. That's kind of the first level. Then you can get up to the level where I'm at. I'm doing it on a PC, and I'm making fake payment screens and stuff to really throw some wrenches into their process.
Yeah, I think that's good. And Whiskey, what do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's an easy way to get in scam baiting. It's how I got into it. It's what I'm doing now. You don't have to be super tech savvy. For me, the non-delivery scams, just kind of level set on that. non-delivery scams are basically advanced fee scams as well, to where you are purchasing in terms of whiskey, puppies, hay. You're paying up front for a good or service that you will never get. So sometimes they'll walk you down and they're like, all right, we'll just pay 50% of it. So you pay someone usually through Bitcoin, Cash App, even sometimes gift cards, bank accounts, and then you're never going to get it. And the puppy scams are especially evil. I work with some amazing folks behind the scenes that scour the Better Business Bureau weekly reports, and it's thousands and thousands of dollars that people are losing, specifically on puppies. Because they're paying for these adorable little, fur babies, new members of their family, and they're never going to get it. And then it's layered on top of, once they pay the puppy scammer, then they get into the shipping scam part of that. So they layer on to where, oh, your dog needs a crate. You got to pay for this. You got to pay for this vaccination and all this stuff. If you don't do it, we're going to report you to, for animal cruelty, because technically it's your dog. And that's usually, from what we've seen, usually kind of where people are going, wait a second, this doesn't make sense. I'm getting scammed.
Well, and unfortunately, my best friend got scammed, and even a kitten thing. She paid like $1,000, and you're exactly right. It is so sad when these families are expecting and hatch. I think I interjected there. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. Well, and Whiskey kind of pointed on something too, where you can kind of get scammed and then turn around and get scammed again. Well, when I see in the like the financial scams I deal with, people will lose X amount of money, and then they'll go and they'll see a profile of someone saying, "Hey, I can get you. Have you been scammed? I can get you your money and crypto back." And that scammer. So they have so many unique ways of scamming you and then turning around and scamming you again.
Yeah,
right.
Scams.
It's scary, and to think that anyone can get manipulated in that kind of thing. Okay, Doug. Let's see. Oh, and KDA, if you want to come back in the backstage, I'll get you. And because I know you've been wanting to ask a question as well, and so just whenever you're ready. But again, just thank you guys for doing all this. Okay, Hatch. Remember in your stream the other day, you were kind of talking about kind of one of your weirdest baiting experiences ever. Do you want to kind of discuss a little bit about that?
I do. In the scripts that they get, they really try to earn your what do you want to say? They want to validate themselves as being truthful, honest, trustworthy, and when you trust them, you will give them money. I had a scammer this last week asked me, we need to take a truth oath. And I'm like, okay, I love oaths, just playing around. And then they go, do you have a razor blade? And I asked, a razor blade? They wanted me to cut myself and send them a picture of it to show that I was being honest and truthful with them. And that was the absolute strangest, weirdest thing I have ever had. They asked, you get some weird ones, but that took the cake.
Yeah, that is definitely the weirdest one. Whiskey, do you have any weird experiences like Hatch, or is that?
That probably takes the cake.
I think, yeah.
A lot of that is rooted in voodoo and like black magic and stuff like that, which is very that with the PCH scammers in Jamaica, but very kind of, from what I read up on it, very indicative of that, superstitious.
No, that's true. And Doug, don't feel bad for asking any of these questions, because that's why we wanted to bring these two gentlemen around, is because they did something that I knew about the Instagram, the romance scams, but nothing like what these two gentlemen are doing. I mean, who would have thought puppy? So again, don't be afraid. So actually, he has another question.
Oh, may I?
Yeah.
All right. So Doug, I'm not sure what Discords you're in.
He's not in Discord, because even KDA had asked if he's on Discord, and he says no.
Okay. Actually,
okay. If you want to report phone numbers like that, They're most if they're you can either give them to me or your best bet is to send an email to abuse@textnow.com, and because most of those gift card scammers use TextNow, so it's most likely
Okay.
the TextNow number.
If they
Okay.
use WhatsApp, you can report the number directly in WhatsApp. I found a lot of them you will use that, and Telegram as well.
Yes, that's what my husband was just talking about earlier. He said he's noticed everybody that he watches getting the Telegram scam on almost every video, and then they're acting like they're you and be like, "Oh, you just earned a reward." Yeah, it's
Yep. And a lot of Twitter scammers, when I talk to them, they'll try to get me to text them on a phone number or get me to talk to them on
Not me,
WhatsApp
dude.
or Telegram because
you're
they
good.
don't want that incriminating conversation in Twitter chat where Twitter support can see it, because once they see it, their profile's gone.
Mm-hmm. That's scary. And again, Doug, we're welcome to help you out in any way, shape, or form. KDA, thank you so much for offering your assistance, and just know that we're all here. I mean, you can even watch CJ. You can definitely watch Team SDS. Oh, hello, West Haven. I mean, there's so many here that you can ask so many questions, and we'll be happy to help you in any way, shape, or form. Even if you're not on Discord, you can still get through YouTube. You can send us messages. I can even put in our email that you can even email us if you need to. And so again, just thank you for joining us. I really do appreciate it. And
Doug, the bank accounts you likely have gotten from them are likely bank accounts they've stolen from victims. They like to do that. They steal people's banking information and then they give it out like they're philanthropists. So take this card, take this account number and pay $1,000 on your credit card. Well, when you do that, that's going to come back because it's a victim's account.
Yeah, that's so true. And that's something we probably should talk about is what is a mule?
Yeah, there's a
lot of the money mules don't even know they're money mules.
There's a whole web of people that before the money gets to any of the scammers, there's a whole web of people it goes through beforehand.
It is, yeah. So in my non-delivery cases, typically most of the mules that are using Cash App, Zelle are knowing. They're aware of it. They're in on it. It's relatively easy to, not to go into too much detail, but it's relatively easy to get and create multiple Cash App accounts directed to one account. So they're in on it. A lot of them are recruited through drug scams. So they're originally a victim turned money mule. So if you're buying illicit drugs, from a scammer on Twitter or Instagram, and then you get scammed, they reach back out to them and say, "Hey, I scammed you, but I can get you some money back and then some."
And again, just like Everett says, they're victim mules and willing mules.
Exactly, Kerber.
Yeah, what I see in most of my baits are victim mules. They've already sent the scammer $25, and now the scammer tells them, well, in order to you to get your donation, now you need to work for me and accept money. What they do is they'll have other victims send to the victim mule in cash through Cash App, and then the victim sends it to the scammer through Bitcoin. So it's really untraceable, virtually untraceable. And so I deal with more of the victim mules, and I have a really unique way that I can get through to them, but I think we'll touch on some of that later.
Yeah, Hatch, I've been thinking quite a bit about your your victims. To me, it's almost like a Ponzi scheme / pyramid scheme, to where they're promising, and I think this is with PCH as well, and I know to a point it is with PCH, to where they keep these victim mules on the line of saying, no, we're going to get you more money. We've got more money coming. And then you have to send me, 75% of it, you keep 15%. And it keeps them on there because they've already been victimized. And they're like, oh, okay, well, they either know they were scammed and they're getting money back, or they think it's still a philanthropy type thing. To where it's like you're sending money to somebody but then you're going to send money to somebody else, but then you're going to keep getting money. It's a pyramid scheme.
Very much like.
And that's the scary thing. especially when you first get started, and then all of a sudden it just over time, the development of all this, and then figuring out who's a victim and who's not, so again, I think this is very valuable information so far. So again, just, oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and ask you guys. Here's another question I have written down. And again, it says, what would you say has been your greatest achievement regarding scam baiting?
My greatest actually just happened this week. I keep track of all the profiles that I bait and to see if they've been shut down or still up. And when I bait someone, I always check when their profile was opened, because on their profile, every profile will tell you when it was opened. And so I've recently just got a 13-year-old profile shut down. It was probably a stolen account. The scammers stole someone's account and we're using it to scam. I don't know exactly how long I'm using it, but that are 13 years old look more legitimate in a victim's eyes.
For me,
so that was my biggest so far.
And that's huge. I mean, getting old accounts taken down, just like Hatch's like really old account, legitimizes him significantly in the scammer's eyes. But getting old accounts taken down is really hard. I mean, our oldest one that we've been trying to take down has been up since January.
Oh, wow.
And it is harder every day that goes by. It's harder and harder versus the ones that just pop up and are a couple days old. The community, we have so many people reporting them, we can get them ripped down pretty quick. So, which is great. For me, my greatest achievement is just the awareness. I had somebody DM'd me on Twitter, wasn't a follower, didn't know who I was, but, got messaged on Instagram and was engaging in a conversation over some really rare whiskey. And they just decided to Google the Instagram name no, they decided to search it on Twitter. Maybe they Googled it, but it came up from one of my tweets that exposed them. And they DM'd me and he was like, yeah, I was totally like engaged with this guy. And I went to do a little bit of research and I saw your post, thank you so much. And I was like, that's cool. We love hearing stories like that.
No, that's definitely true. That's definitely true. And thank you guys for sharing that. And again, we definitely want to keep promoting the channel. So again, Hatch does have a Twitch. He's also on Twitter and he has a YouTube. And let's see. And they're all in the description. Yes.
Oh yeah, they're in the description as well.
Yeah, and I've got a YouTube's and a Twitch's.
Yes.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, Dad, get off the computer.
You can follow me on. You can follow me on MySpace as well. So I'm a father.
MySpace.
Have you been keeping up with the Facebooks?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But anywho, I don't stream yet. I've thought about it. At some point, I would like to, but.
You should.
For the most part, it's just Twitter and Instagram.
But again, you guys should. And so again, if there's any more questions that you have, hi PJ. The interwebs can be confusing. Yes. And Steely goes, I remember MySpace. I never had one, but I think
I miss MySpace.
Yeah, I think someone
actually don't.
The last one to like get off of it, which was funny. I think it was my sister.
I never had one either.
Hey, that's why I like hanging out with y'all. I feel so young.
You are a little baby Kash.
I
never had MySpace.
Tell me about the war. Any of them, really?
Yeah, back in 1895. I'm kidding.
Back when we invaded Grenada. I'm in sales and marketing, so that's I work with a lot of people that are a lot younger than I am. So I always like to throw out the MySpace, and they just roll their eyes.
Oh, I know. And again, please, and yes, Doug, the victims, yes, we do have some victim advocates already in line, and they already do that in place. And also, Hatch, you have an experience of, getting victims, like you said earlier, with messaging them through Cash App.
Yeah, Hatch, do you want to throw that story down there? rabbit hole?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I'd been scam baiting, and I noticed a lot of them were using Cash App, and it dawned on me that a lot of these are victims' accounts, and I just started feeling really bad. Like there's got to be some way to contact these people and tell them, hey, you're getting scammed. Don't send them any money. Don't do anything. And then it dawned on me, it's like I saw that you can send a little message when you send money or request money on Cash App. It's like you only get like 100 characters. It's really short. And so I found out you can send the minimum of $1. So when every scammer gives me a cash tag to send money to, I send that cash tag $1 with a message saying, John Doe is a scammer. Don't send them any money. And I know it's worked because they can reply back once the transaction is final. They can reply with an emoji, and I'll get thumbs up, hearts. One guy actually did the same thing and sent me like 4 transactions telling me his story of thank you. I thought it sounded sketchy. And then just yesterday, it was yesterday, I had a scammer, after they gave me their cash tag, they gave me the victim's Twitter handle. And so I went and I messaged them. They happened to be online. And so we had caught them live in the scam and prevented them from losing any money. And that, as a scam baiter, there's no greater feeling than that.
No greater feeling.
Yeah, it's I do not contact victims of because
I
I
don't
get the
either.
bank accounts. I do not. I'm not comfortable with it at this point. Not having any training. Hatch has some experience in counseling world and a lot more education than I do with it. So that's not something I'm comfortable with. So I typically am just reporting things, but I do what we do with Whiskey Scammer and myself, and actually a lot of other folks on Twitter. When we see someone comment in a Twitter feed, when they reply back to a scammer, we like flood them with like warnings. We're like, hey, FYI, by the way, this is a scammer. I will DM them and try to be preventative. So most of these folks don't know. They see, bottle of Pappy 15 for $800, and they're like, how do I get one? And then we're like on top of it very quickly. Hey, Joe Schmo, this is a scam. There is no whiskey for you to have.
No, so true. That's so true. And Care Bear saving a friend. So yeah, you're actually right. Sorry, I'm trying to stay on track here. Sorry, go ahead, Kash.
I have been distancing myself from dealing with people who've already been scammed. But one of my greater callings is in the middle of a scam. Because there's a lot of people in our community that are really good at doing some stuff that they have access to some information, and it's like, hey, this person's getting scammed right now, blah 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 blah. Interrupting a scam, there's no better adrenaline rush.
No, it's so great.
Than just calling and calling and calling, and then finally getting them to hang up.
Yes.
Then, hey, this is why I wanted to talk to you. All right. Now that we're all here, now that you're off the phone with everyone else, I don't want anything from you. I'm just letting you know what's going on. You can kind of put the brakes on at that point. There's no better rush than that.
But also you have to deal with it carefully because, Kash, as you know, there are times where people want to talk to the scammer, just like is mentioned in the comments, that they would rather talk to them because they're thinking, are you also scamming me?
Yeah.
And getting scared and going, oh my God, why are you talking to me?
That's happened to me. Well, I've had somebody yell at me on the phone thinking I was a scammer before.
Yeah, you have to be light on your feet for sure.
My favorite time was when we shut down 12 call centers in a day. That was nice. I appreciated that. I like calling tech support scammers. That's my thing.
Yes. Yeah. And you do a great job, by the way. So if anyone, needs to hear different baits, definitely listen to Kash, Hatch, Whiskey, Nope, CJ, and definitely, you got to listen to Mary and the way she does it. And so again, it's just like with any of us in the community, there are so many different ways. And then, like you said, Kash, when you can catch them in that instant, because there are times where we have a VM and then we'll hear someone get on back in the day when I used AnyDesk a lot more, we would get the number and try to interrupt that same time. And that was really fun. But sometimes we don't catch it at the right time. So,
Yeah.
Well,
And doing the text space, that's go ahead, Kash. You first.
Sorry. There's a million different things to do in the scam baiting community, and I feel like here recently, the scam baiting community, or not even the scam. Well, I guess it is all involved in the scam baiting community, but the taking care of scammer community. I guess we'll put it that way, because there's victim advocates. There's all sorts of there's a million
entities.
There's a million different things going on at once. It's just not all scam baiting. Scam baiting is a large chunk of it. Don't get me wrong. It's over half of it. That I would say it's probably closer to 80-90% of it, as far as people involved. But there's a million other things to do, and I feel like there's a lot of people that are interested that don't have the access to a VM. They don't have the access to a dialer. They don't have the access to a full running computer. Some people are just watching YouTube videos on their phone, and they're like, "Damn, this sounds interesting. How can I get involved?"
Right.
And there are different ways to get involved. Even at the bare minimum, just sharing with your friends, sharing with your family. At the bare minimum, there's that.
Yes.
Then you're a part.
Retweeting a Scambaiter's tweet, that is huge. That helps.
Yes, it does.
That just helps the community grow, because
you can be a cheerleader, you can be just a fan, and you can even go to your family's nursing home and talking to them and seeing, like, how are they preventing the scams? What are they doing?
In the last 3 years, I was doing a little bit of looking up on this. Scammers have actually backed off of the U.S. They've been looking into other countries, and it's just because of the pressure that the scam baiting community has thrown out there. And it's not necessarily scam baiters. It's people that scam baiters have shared the information with, and they're like, "Oh, this is a fucking scam. Fuck you," and then they hang up. Well,
Right.
if you call 100 numbers a day and 99 of them say "fuck you," hang up, your numbers are going down significantly.
Yeah, a great example of that.
Just because the information got shared. I mean, it doesn't take much to. It literally takes very little amount, except for just sharing. And
it does.
And that's the bare minimum. And then if you want to get involved with like if you just have a phone, if you just have a phone, if you don't have a computer set up, if you don't have streaming capabilities, if you don't want to be a streamer, like I don't want to be a streamer. I love sharing my experiences. I love talking about my experiences and hearing other people's experiences together. But streaming live calls and stuff like that, no, not my thing.
Right.
But there's always a part for everyone in the community. I mean, if you just have a phone, you can set up not a fake email, but a alternate email.
No, that's true. And this is also a great thing, Doug, that he works at a printer place, so he can share some information from us and share it out. And that is a really big step right there, because actually that's something that we want to work on, is another project that I've got in thoughts, and I've already told Nope about it. And Hatch is already kind of building up a Scambaiter website, which is awesome. And so again, if we can definitely get in touch with Doug, and maybe even get some of that printed out for us, And
yeah, so one of the things to piggyback on what Hatch was saying about the retweets and the likes.
Yes,
so
yes.
I have multiple bait accounts on Twitter, and I cannot escape Whiskey Scam Alert, my kind of partner in crime, that I work with on Twitter, that does really all the hard work in terms of researching and finding these guys. I get a pop-up, suggested, follow on my bait accounts constantly with his, whatever his tweet is, because of the people I'm following. So the Twitter algorithm is saying, hey, Joe alternate account, you're following all these whiskey folks. You should also follow Whiskey Scam Alert. And it's amazing. I mean, every time I go on there, I'm like, this is great. So it's raising awareness for people that are in the whiskey community to sit there and it pops up, they go, whiskey scam. Like everybody here, what the hell's a whiskey scam? And then they'll click on it and then they learn a little bit. And that's raising awareness and bringing education to it.
Yes.
And getting started on Twitter, it's really just as simple as using your phone, downloading the app, and making a fake account. Don't use your real account. And you can chat with them and get them to say enough in chat to violate terms of service without needing to go to fake payment screens and all that. The terms of service basically say if anyone is asking for money to receive money, which is the Cash App Scam 101, that's against terms of service. The money doesn't have to actually exchange hands. So you can just do it with your phone, a fake profile, and get them to say enough. And then you got to learn how to report them properly, because Twitter is you can actually report them specifically for scamming, but it's a 10-step process to do it. But it works well for getting them shut down when you report them that way.
Would you say it's gonna get easier or harder with the whole Twitter shit going on right now, Hutch?
I've already seen it getting harder.
That's what I was afraid of.
When 15% of the Twitter support staff got cut. And
Yes,
so what I've been seeing is, whereas profiles that I would report getting shut down in 48 to 72 hours are now getting shut down in 6 to 7 days.
Yeah.
So I don't know if maybe they've gone to just doing it in batches, like we're going to do all the reports on Friday or something like that. But it's not happening as quickly as it used to.
Yeah, that fucking sucks, man.
Yeah,
That sucks.
It does.
Well, Doug had a great question here.
Yeah,
I'll throw that up.
Yeah. We already talked about that.
Yeah, but I want to reiterate that a little bit.
Of course. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's,
I don't mean to be rude.
No, you're good. That is something that comes with the social engineering side. If you're doing a text-based scam, it's a little bit I don't want to say easier, but you have more time to think and I mean, it's like writing an essay. You can proofread.
Time is on your side.
Time is on your side.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah. Perfect way to say that, Whiskey. Thank you.
And also, I'm posting what you just said, Whiskey. I am posting what you wanted to report about clicking the 3 dots.
But hey, do you want to throw KDA up?
Of course.
KDA, where the hell are you at?
I know she said she wanted to ask a question and then she hasn't popped back up. So I would love that, because we do need to kind of probably wrap some things up. I know we've been talking for about an hour and 15 minutes almost. And so if anyone else has any other questions, or if they want to even come up on panel, then
absolutely.
we can.
I'd love to have people pop up in here.
Of course. And so I'll be happy. But again, let's just, if you want to make sure we've answered all the questions that Doug has, I've starred all of them. There's 6 of them. So we want to make sure we have the gain the victims, call the victims, which
well,
we have a lot of people that, so Doug, if you even want to come in, you are more than welcome. I'm going to post the link and
would you like to come up?
Yes. So now, guys, do y'all have anything else that you want to share before we bring KDA up and others at this time?
I think we need more people scam baiting on Twitter. Not a lot of people know about it.
Yes.
And there are thousands upon thousands of scammers. And once they get their profile shut down, they start a new one. Just a VPN, start a new one. So it's really hard to cut down the population scammer. It's really easy to get started. I get about 90 profiles are shut down or deleted or something. So it's easy to do, and you can get stuff done if you just make them go through their script, get them reported, and you can get them shut down. It literally sounds simple, and it's more complex, but that's the TDLR.
No, I appreciate it. And Whiskey?
you know, for me, you know, getting being in a scam baiting community and is relatively, I guess, new. You know, since April, is that this is a different type of bait. So sometimes it's good to mix things up, not only for content, for your viewers, but sometimes you just need a mental break, from the grind of whether it's tech support, whether it's streaming. And I've talked to a handful of streamers that are like, "Hey, can you send me some of those Instagram handles? Can you send me some of those Twitter handles?" Because they just need something a little bit different to mix it up. And sometimes you like all of us, especially if you're making content, you never know what you're going to get until you really start with it. And that's where, to me, it's fun, the improv part of it, the steering the scam a little bit. And thank you for posting on how to report a Twitter scam.
Yes, and thank you for getting that information. No, and thank you. I appreciate it. So that way we can share that. And
and no, sorry, Dill Hole.
Dill.
Yeah,
do you have any rye? Yeah, I was supposed to show
glass.
that.
That's half.
So again, we have a wonderful baiter in front of ours, KDA. She's here, and not only does she help in many communities, she also follows and listens to a lot of people, and especially she falls asleep to a particular streamer at night, which is cute. Of course. Yeah. So again, KDA, I know you said you had some questions. I'm sorry we had a little delay in getting you up the.
That's fine. I just have a question for Whiskey. The non-delivery scams. How much? How many times do you get them shut down? Like when they get past after they've given the money for the puppy, and then they get into the carrier.
Yeah. So I need to be a little careful with how much I talk about it. So actual arrestable, I don't. So, I can only do so much, so my whole goal is to dry up their money laundering effort, by reporting bank accounts, Cash App. And that's why I specifically target certain things in terms of money, reporting Bitcoin wallets. The website, some of the Whiskey, depending on the server, some of them are very, very responsive. I have a love affair with Namecheap because they are absolutely amazing with taking down the Whiskey sites. The puppies is a little bit different. Let me put it this way. If you get a suspected website, link or whatever from someone that's offering to sell you anything, Google the site. Do not go directly to it. Type it in Google and then scroll down and look at the search results. In terms of puppies, most of the time, a lot of them will be number 2, number 3 in the search engine will have something to do with scam.
Yeah.
No, that's true. And Care Bear, exactly. Katie, that was a great question. Do you have any other questions?
I had one other question.
Sure.
Can you explain to our viewers what a hay scam is?
Hey, scam.
Yeah,
this is
not just hey, not just hey, hello.
This
hey
is
girl,
the strange.
Hey.
This was really strange. So, I saw it on Twitter a couple times to where, Whiskey Scam Alert would be like, dude, did you our guy switched from whiskey to hay? I'm like, hey? I'm like, that's
hay
really
is for horses.
Bizarre. Hay is for horses and cows and lots of other stuff, as I know Cash knows, having a little bit of a farming background. So then I was like, let's go down this rabbit hole. So I found a couple of Better Business Bureau reports on hay scams. They were basically stealing content from hardworking farmers in the US and Canada and stealing their photos and making their own website. And a lot of this stem from, all these scams, they stem from where, there's a need. So there was a hay shortage in the US and farmers were looking, overseas on how to get hay. So these guys were like, oh, okay, let's make these websites. So I actually contacted, this is the few case, one of the few cases I actually reached out to the actual farm and said, hey, FYI, do you know about this? And a couple of them were like, we don't know what else we can do. And I was like, hold my beer, hold my whiskey. And then, so I reached out to the Hey Scammer and baited them. I had some great folks in the community that were grabbing, lots of information from them through their phone calls. And I was able to get their websites shut down.
No, that's great. That's great. No, thank you so much. Yeah, and nope, I'm going to bring you down for a minute. And KDA, yes, awesome questions. And that's why I'm glad you're here. Because everyone is part of Scambait Beyond. Everybody is a part of Scambaiting communities. And so now I'm going to drop Nope down, and then let's bring up Grant Man.
Yeah, PJ, I've seen a lot of horse sites as well.
Yes. Hi,
Grant Man.
Hey, Grant, how are you?
Goodness. Oh, don't act like you're in $1 million house now. We saw that background.
That's a beautiful house.
Thinking. No, yeah, it's real. I play the piano and everything.
That's the house I want. And again, KDA, have you finished all your questions before we drop you down? And that way we'll bring in JoJo.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for everything that you're doing. We appreciate you. All right. All right, Grant, you're up for your questions, and then next is JoJo.
So it's not really just a question, just to kind of touch bases on what you guys talked about. Because I did a Scambaiting probably 10 years ago, like back when I was doing it with AJ. And I got out of it because I was in another time zone. I was working in China. But I found like the best way to keep them on the line is to keep the story straight, redirect them, and try to and even if you feel like throwing a Hail Mary, like the other day, I just did a call and said I was already at the bank wanting to withdraw $40,000. Try to fast forward their story, put them off their game so you can go right for the money. And I tried doing that multiple times until the last call a couple of days ago, we were able to get 2 addresses. So if you can cut right to the chase, for those who really want to get that information, do that. I was gonna actually kind of ask about the Twitter scam. So like, when you say Twitter scam, are those the people that tell you that to get into their crypto service or something like that?
There are so many different types of scams they run on Twitter. They run financial scams.
It is a river scams, an inch deep and a mile wide.
Fake crypto exchanges where they'll send you a message saying you've won $15,000 in Ethereum. Just go to this website, register, and then when you put your code in, it's a fake website, and it looks pretty legit, but then they tell you, oh, you have to make a deposit of so much currency to be able to withdraw your currency, and once you do that, it's gone.
What
Grantman was saying regarding getting straight to the point, there's 2 types of scammers in my mind. There's the scammer that sticks straight to the script and nothing but the script. Then you go straight through with it. But then what I call a dangerous scammer is one that listens to you. If you say, oh, my mom got sick the other day, and they say, hey, I'm sorry to hear about your. Now that scammer, you can take them on a wild ride. You can tell them anything from horse CPR to, you name it, done it with. So I think there's more like 2 types. Anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah. So for me with the non-delivery scams, they don't want to talk. They do not want engagement. They don't want to go back and forth. So I can get the fastest I got a bank account was I filled out a online form, because you can never actually check out on the scam websites. It's always like, oh, you want to do a bank transfer? We'll email you. And they literally emailed me a bank account. 0 engagement, no back and forth. No checking to see if I was legit. Literally emailed me a bank account. And to answer Doug Doom's question about the bank addresses, I call the banks. I have some folks, I report some bank accounts to some folks, but typically I call the bank myself, and report it. The big banks tend to not, to be frank, don't really seem to give a shit. The credit unions are absolutely amazing. They want to know who it was, where it came from, and they're actually engaged. Unfortunately, you don't get any satisfaction from the bank because they can't tell you yeah, we're suspending it, we're flagging it, we're doing anything else. So you kind of just got to go, you know what? It's in their hands now. I did all I could. So, yeah, it's very quick, Grant, man.
And so we only can do so much, unfortunately. And I think, who was it I was talking to, who was mentioning, like, you know, at the end of the day, we only can go so far. We cannot do the PI work. We cannot be the PI. We cannot be the one that goes to investigate firsthand. That's dangerous. But at the same time, in principle, I almost feel like it's our duty, if we know what we're doing, to do it. Kind of contradicting myself on that, though. Because I feel so bad, because the longer we waste them investigating, the more victims they can get a hold of. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It does.
Oh, hi, Nicholas. He's saying hi, Hatch. So, no, I think, Agent, that's great. You know, again, you do a great job, and you have been a baiter for a long time, and I'm thankful for what you do. And is there any other questions that you have at this time? Otherwise, we'll move to JoJo.
Yeah, no questions. You can dot me out, or I'll just stay quietly staring.
Yeah, no, yeah, just in case.
I want to admire your house some more.
I know.
Yeah,
So, yeah, JoJo.
It's from StreamYard.
I know.
You can pretend you have a big expensive house too.
Oh, I know. I admire that very, very much. I think I want to use it.
I'm in a club, apparently.
Yes, you are. And again, JoJo, did you have any questions that you want to say?
Any
Or ask,
questions?
That you just want to ask. Sorry, I don't know why I just said say.
Nothing that Grant didn't touch on, but a few more issues. Like, are you just going to be focusing on the Twitter scam specifically?
As far as this YouTube channel, is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
No, absolutely not. Our goal with this YouTube channel is to just have more panels like this, and this is our first panel, and we have Hatch and Whiskey, who are both more so on the social media side of things, and there's a lot of people who don't know a lot about text-based scams, you know.
Right.
Well, there's the big YouTubers that you know, that they have their, everyone knows. If you look up scam baiting on YouTube or Google, really anything, you're gonna see the big guys, and
Right.
it's all you know, Scammer Payback, Kitboga, you know, it's all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And
people that KDA watch while going to sleep, you know.
Yes.
And there's nothing
yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. But
They're
that's just
amazing in what they do.
Yeah,
They are.
It's just not relatable to a lot of people. So basically, what we're trying to do with this YouTube channel is to kind of advertise different ways of scam baiting for people who maybe don't have a virtual machine, a dialer, or access to a solid computer or internet access. They can just use their phone. You know, just try to spread the word about different things.
Well, let me kind of tell you how this all started too. Is we actually had a panel on my other channel, the Chit Chat, and really the biggest thing that it got out there was scam baiting. So I thought, you know what, we need to start another channel and basically put it as a hub, as a promotion, prevention, and education, like Kash is saying, and that way we can teach pretty much as we can on here. And of course, we're going to build up other projects as in the time being. I've got some other things lined up, but again, we are going to have other panelists. We're going to have other guests on, and also bring in other baiters, and maybe even share some of their stories of what they've done. And that way, it's a community. I mean, this is everybody's. It's, you know, I'm not just Scambait Beyond. It's everybody is Scambait Beyond. And but also we're affiliated. We're teamed with Team SDS and also Scammer Takeout. And, you know, again, go check his channel out. But again, this is kind of how I started. And then Kash kindly said, hey, can I co-host? And so I'm really thankful that, you know, everyone that's on here decided to help us out. because if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be here today, because I know CJ also helps, promote and educate. So but there are other YouTube channels that do the same thing. We just want to be more of a beyond scam baiting. We want to develop into more. So there's more to come. It's just we're still in the baby steps.
Okay. Oh, by the way, I'm pretty sure you still have my Discord if you're looking for an editor or something. I don't know, Cash.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Actually, Jojo, I'd like for you to get together with us at Scambait Beyond tomorrow at some time. Yeah, no, the whole goal of this this panel thing is to maybe, I mean, because I'm speaking for myself, but as much as I learn in the scam baiting community and the different people I meet and the different ways that they take on scam baiting and the different ways that they deal with different issues, beyond scam baiting. I mean, it was yeah. Plug that. Well, actually, my husband thought of this as Scambait Bath and Beyond, so that's kind of how the title came to be.
but beyond scam baiting, victim advocacy and stuff like that. That's our ultimate goal is just to share the kind of the behind the scenes, and or not necessarily to share the behind the scenes, but to get people that work behind the scenes to answer questions. Just an open forum, basically.
Right,
Kash is pretty much the guy behind the guy behind the guy. In terms of connecting folks. A little.
I thought you were talking about my sex life there for a second.
No.
I got nervous.
And any exposure whatsoever, any exposure of scam baiting, a scam baiter, of what they do, sharing it raises awareness. Awareness is the greatest tool we have in our belts, and it's the one we have to work on the most.
Well, it's like I was saying earlier with that the main thing, the bare minimum that anyone could do is just tell someone they know. Yeah, you're a part of the community. If you tell someone that you know that you think could be a victim of a scam, if you tell them something about this, then you're already doing your part.
Yeah, and and they'll know who to reach out to. So when I ventured upon this very strange path, or as my family says, the weird shit I do in the basement. I started talking to
Grantman. Unfortunately, I can see you.
Yeah,
you can see me. I'm looking at. There's a black screen, like it's just loading, but you can see me.
Circle going around.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we can
see you. I had that happen to me
handsome
too,
as ever.
We can see you.
Sir, just don't touch anything, please.
Just leave it. It'll.
Just stop moving the mouse, sir.
Yeah.
Stop moving the mouse, sir.
Have you tried turning it off and turning it back on?
Yeah.
If you're being serious, I did hit start. I did hit stop cam, and I did hit.
2%.
I can fix that for a $30 gift card.
All right. So what I need you to do, sir, quit listening to these other scammers. Quit listening. Get on anydesk.com.
Any.com.
Sir, do not talk to him.
Wait. I'm so confused. I'm just so confused.
See what happens when you have too many scam baiters in the same room.
We go in the character. Oh my god!
Yeah.
Amanda got to hear me, and oh gosh, there's a recording there.
Firewall is at the 2%.
I was crying so hard I had to laugh. I was laughing so hard I had to cry. So when I got emotional, and she was my best friend, even though she was an abusive sister to me. In our hypothetical. Yeah. Wait, were you or were you not? No,
I wasn't the abusive one, but sometimes I do get loud.
She already told me I had anxiety. I didn't know I had anxiety.
Oh no, it's because you had you had a lot
I can't breathe.
Dealt with the divorce. You had to deal with the hip surgery. You had bad knees. You weighed over 400 pounds. I mean, you had a lot of
I had no idea I had no idea there was so much wrong with me because I was just talking and my sister just decided to put all that extra stuff on me. I was just sad because I'm an emotional person, but she had to add to.
You're a good guy. You're a good guy.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right.
And,
So I think it's about time to wrap this shit up. It's been about an hour and a half now. We had a good one.
Yes,
had a good one.
I hope everyone has enjoyed themselves. Again, Doug, definitely get with KDA.
Anyone in right now, if you don't mind hitting that little like button, it doesn't cost you a thing.
Yes.
It doesn't cost you a thing. I'm not even asking for the share. Just hit the like.
He's gonna charge you a fee.
Things. Please do the YouTube things.
Yeah. Maybe that'll help. I don't know.
Yes. So we're gonna definitely, even a great idea. Pick a night, a week, or month to get all together and go be on Twitter and do call centers. You know what? We're definitely into suggestions, so that's a good one. So we appreciate that.
And Amanda, do you want to throw the? Do you have the Discord link?
Yes.
You want to throw that in there real quick? We're gonna do a little after party in the Discord, hosted by yours truly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so definitely come on in. And then,
which Discord, guys? Which?
It's the Scambait Beyond Discord.
Oh, okay. I'm in that one.
Amanda, you got that?
I'm getting it right now. Yep. And also,
there it is.
I'll put our email link in the description, so that way Doug. Actually, I'll just go ahead and post it now. Here's one that you can get in touch with me.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you can. Well, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, and for everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks for entertaining this strange kind of new scam baiting. I think that's not new to Hatch or I, but we appreciate all the support from the community of really introducing everybody to a very different type of scam baiting.
Anytime, you guys are always welcome to come back, because we know that there's so much more to learn about this.
It's been really great. Like I said, it was basically Whiskey Scam Alert and I on Twitter fighting these guys, and he's been absolutely, he's a very behind the scenes private person, but I update him constantly with different scam baiters calling and trolling our whiskey scammers, and he's like, this is absolutely amazing. I love that they're on the ropes, and we have legitimately seen a significant decrease in whiskey scammers in particular on Twitter, and we've seen a massive increase of getting them shut down as soon as they get on there.
Right.
And a lot of that is because of our amazing whiskey community on Twitter, but it's also because of a lot of folks in the scam baiting community. So it's been great.
Bye, Mark. Good seeing you.
Yes. Yeah. And again, we're this is not the last time that you're going to see us on here, and I appreciate everyone for being here tonight. Or if you
join the Discord, or else share it with some of your family members that may need some of these resources for Twitter scams or other important scams.
Yeah.
As I think it was Whiskey said earlier.
And twitterscams.info. That's a great resource too.
Also, HTH has a URL right above their head. Go be sure to check out that URL, twitterscams.info, to learn more.
Hey, Hatch, duck down a little bit.
The best way,
just duck down just a tad.
The best way to protect people is by having everyone know about these scams when they're present. Eventually, scamming will not be a viable career path anymore, and we will see a dip. Whether that's tomorrow or in the next 100 years, that's for anyone to decide.
Yeah, and if I can piggyback on that real quick about Discord.
Sure. And then we'll finalize.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're fine.
Do not be afraid to tell your parents, your grandparents about Discord, because you could be very, very surprised that they're already on Discord playing some Gardenville thing. My mother, who's in her 70s,
Farmville.
Farmville, yes.
She's on Discord. I told my kids, I was like, do you know your grandmother is on Discord? They're like, oh my God, why? I'm like, it's some Farmville thing. So like Discord, and I'm significantly over 40. And my kids were like, "Why are you on Discord?" I was like, "It's for like scam baiting and stuff." But like Discord is not just for gaming, which I think typically it used to be. It's for obviously we're all on Discord, so we know these.
Discord is now more advertised for bringing communities together.
100%.
It is, because it started in 2015 for just gamers, but now there's so many different communities that you can look into. So it's not just
Discord
for young.
Recently, Discord put out a documentary talking about how some very successful artists, like up and coming hip hop artists, had met through Discord, had made music through Discord.
Oh wow!
So there's a community for basically everything. There's a community for your favorite anime, for your favorite TV show, for scam baiting. Just be sure to not click any of those weird links that you may get.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. And again, to each of y'all, Kash, thank you so much for co-hosting with me. Your honor and a privilege. And yes, you do love to talk a lot, but you know what? We love you even more for it.
That's what I'm here for.
And you're sexy as hell. Pat,
what?
Well, he's a sexy man. I can say that. We're married. Not to each other, just married. And Hatch, you are just an incredible man. So again, everyone, please go check out his twitterscams.info and also go look at him at Twitch.
So
and
it's right down there.
Yes, and you should go watch it and just see what he does. It is so entertaining. And again, you get the opportunity. So again, Hatch, do you have any final words or comments that you want to say before heading off?
No, just check it out. Stick around, chat. We have amazing community. We'd love to have you. And like I said, I gotta do a shameless plug for my website. I got everything out there from scam info to scammer listings to links to other scam baiters. So there's a plethora of information you can get there.
Oh, who was talking about Namecheap earlier?
I was.
Yeah, I agree with what you said about Namecheap earlier. I completely forgot to tell y'all, but actually, I've been using Namecheap as my registrar for around a year now.
We'll get into that in the after party.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll fill you on why name. I can give you some insight on why Namecheap is so great about taking down websites offline.
Yeah. So, Whiskey, do you have any final words?
No, just thanks for the opportunity of being here. Love it. It's been a blast. If Scambait, have fun with it. Anybody can do it. It's super easy on Twitter. It's super easy on Instagram. It doesn't take a lot, but have fun with it. If it's draining you and it's taxing you emotionally, step away. You can have fun and do some really, really great things about protecting folks and wasting scammers' time.
However, for the love of God, stop flooding scam call centers. In the end of the day, we all just want to have fun, troll them. Stop flooding them.
Well, we can talk more about that later. But again, Grant and Joe, thanks for coming at the end. KDA, thanks for also coming in. But again, thank you to all of the chat here tonight. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch us and spend time with us. And just again, we look forward to many, many more adventures with you all through this whole journey. And again, thank you to the mods. And thank you, Patch and Whiskey, for your time and teaching us. And again, I'm so thankful that I've met you guys. And I'm so thankful for our friendships that we're developing. And we're going to just go see you and you just see more and more. So again, thank
Amanda?
you guys. Yes, Kash. I was about to get to you.
Before you roll us out,
I have the last word.
Before you roll us out, will you throw the Discord and that email in the chat one more time?
Oh, I was just about to do that.
Here,
if anybody has any plugs,
yes.
this is throw them in private chat.
Promote.
Yeah, promote.
Oh, what I do offhand, scam baiting won't do anything. Just my stupid English classes.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? But that's perfect. So, so we got the Discord, we got Twitter scammed info, and
throw that email out for anyone who doesn't have Discord. Shoot that email a message, and we'll get back with you on a way to answer any questions you have. If we can't answer it, we know somebody who can.
Yes, that's a good thing. So again, I just want to wish you all a wonderful night, and we'll look forward to you again soon. And thanks again. And everyone, we're signing off. Here we go.
See ya.
Bye, guys.
Have a great rest of your day or night or whatever. I don't know.
Yes.
Time zone